If you've been training for years, lifting heavy, eating clean, but your body still looks the same, it's not you, it's your program. Oh, by the way, if you stay to the end, I've got something extra special for you to take advantage of. So make sure you do. That's if you want to make gains and fucking get shredded anyway. Welcome to part 1 in my mini-series of 6 in order to help you get in shape and stay in shape for life. You might be thinking, why listen to me? It's because I work with guys that have trained for years but still don't have a physique that they feel like they're actually proud of yet. They're disciplined, they know the basics, but they're just missing that bit with the structure. And I've been that guy too. Training hard, doing everything right, but still not really getting anywhere. Okay, so let's throw it back and I'm going to speak about my own experience with training my ass off and just not absolutely getting anywhere. And if we go back all the way to my teenage years, I'd train 5 or 6 days a week. This is after the newbie gain phase, which is like the first 2 or 3 years where you make progress regardless. But after that stage, I was training every day of the week, almost 5, 6 days a week, copying bodybuilder workouts out of the magazines, and still I just looked the same. And it was embarrassing. Like, I was actually gutted because I was the guy that went to the gym all the time and everyone knew I did. Everyone knew I was obsessed with it, but I didn't look or feel any different. In fact, if anything, I actually felt worse. And then, funnily enough, when I actually moved away from what all the bodybuilders were doing, and I actually just started to train like a strength athlete and focus on getting stronger, that was the first time I actually started to see progress in my own physique and actually saw the confidence come up with that. And it wasn't even anything to do with trying to develop the physique, it was to do with getting strong. So what I did was that sort of hit a light bulb moment with me, and I realized, okay, there was clearly something I was missing here when I was doing the physique bodybuilding stuff when I started out. But this is obviously helping me progress doing this strength-based work, which is why I've like dipped back to that, at different points during my training time. But when I really made the best progress in my physique after that was when I applied these structural elements in terms of focusing on progressive overload and performance, and I applied that to more of a bodybuilding style plan. This is where I actually started to see proper results long-term. And this is the same with most of the guys that come into the program. So let me give you an example. Matt, right? Trained for 20 plus years. He'd focused on getting strong at different points in the past, probably where he built most of his base, if I'm being honest. But then now in his 40s, he'd train super active, train like 4 to 6 times a week, lift weights, go to CrossFit classes, play rugby, what have you. But his physique just wasn't progressing. He wasn't getting, he wasn't able to get as ripped as he wanted to, but then he didn't have as much muscle as he wanted to either. And one thing we did with his training is we actually did something what might have seemed counterintuitive to people from the outside looking in, but all we was doing was taking his own specific circumstances and tailoring it around that. So what we did was we made sure that every single week, as we was increasing food and making sure he was fueling performance, that his training was actually progressive. Now, the thing that we did different with him is we actually brought him down to like 1 working set for almost every exercise. The amount of work he was doing in a session was so little. For him, it felt like he was hardly training. But for the first time in probably over 10 years for Matt, he was actually starting to see increasing muscularity, increasing strength, and now he's hitting PB numbers. He hit 100 kilo bench press the other day for 10 reps. That's a weight that used to scare him, okay? So this is the type of thing you can do when you actually start to focus on the structure, focus on your own individual needs, and most importantly, focus on progressing the lifts in the right direction over time. Right, key lessons here that you can take away. Effort doesn't equal progress. Measuring the right things and making changes based off that is what will get you progress. It doesn't matter how hard you're training, it doesn't matter how hard-headed you are and how tough you think you are, and you just will not be able to work your way through plateaus sometimes. It just won't work like that. Lesson number 2, if you feel like you're not progressing and you're not tracking numbers, you're not tracking how many sessions you train in a week, you're not tracking your logbook in terms of progression of weights, you're not tracking how many sets you're doing, then you're just guessing. And if you're guessing, it's very hard to progress. And the reason being is, say for example, you're under-recovered, you don't know then what to change if you're not tracking anything. Whereas if, say for example, in Matt's case, he was doing 3 working sets for the dumbbell bench press, wasn't seeing any progress, we pulled that down to 2, he saw a bit more progress, pulled that down to 1, he saw even more progress. Straight away, we was able to track things, monitor, make changes, try something else, and then progress kind of came through there. So that's why it's super important to track these variables as you're going along. And that's where performance-based programming comes in. It's all about training with intent. Every session, builds on the last. You've got performance targets, goals in black and white, and a plan that helps you progress to get there. And that's how we managed to get results like we did with Matt. And yes, he's 47 years old. Yes, he's already trained for over 20 years. And yes, he is natural before you ask. So if you've been working hard and you're not seeing results, it's not your genetics. It's your lack of measurable structure. Performance-based programming actually fixes that and makes sure you are progressing. Okay, if you've stayed to the end, I'm going to give you free access to my community on Circle. This is going to be a paid thing soon. I'm not sure when I'm going to put the paid structure in. I'm not sure how much I'm going to charge. But for you guys that have stayed to the end of this video, I'm going to offer it for you for free. DM me on Instagram, the word Big Dog. Yeah, I'm getting creative with these keywords. And I will send you everything you need in order to gain access to my free Circle community. On there, we'll have everything such as my own log. We'll have mini courses. We'll have all my webinars I've ever done, all the guides I've ever made, and it's all housed in one place so you can get all the epic free shit for free and make some sick results. Anyway, if you want to learn how to train hard without burning out, that's exactly what we're covering on part 2 of this mini-series. Stick around and find out and make some fucking epic gains. Let's go.